So today is my 100th video of this year, and I really wanted it to be something fun and exciting and peppy and 100, but it can't be because of what happened in Parkland, Florida yesterday, where another school shooting occurred and left students and teachers and staff reeling, lost lives, families grieving, a nation grieving, and still zero progress on figuring out how we can actually stop this from happening and prevent this from happening in our schools and in our towns throughout America. I was in 8th grade when the Littleton, Colorado shooting happened at Columbine, and I remember how shocking that was to me and to our community. I remember sitting in my 8th grade math class just watching the news. That's all we did the entire time, was just watch the news about what was going on. And people were crying, people were scared, people were worried. And I can't help but think about that compared to the response that I saw yesterday and today, both in myself and in my school, where this is just another thing. This is just another shooting that's happened, another one that's come through on our notification, another on our timeline. If I'm being fully honest, when I saw the notification yesterday, I saw it and it was just like hearing about any other piece of news, and I put it out of my mind and then was able to sit with it more yesterday evening. And I'm ashamed of that. I'm ashamed that I can so easily dismiss that in my mind and not do it. Now, part of it I think is self-care and be able to take care of my students. But another part is it just happens so frequently. And it's not a mystery. And this is what's frustrating, is it's not a mystery as to why this is happening. It's happening because our society is completely saturated with guns. People want to talk about mental health, and that is a worthwhile topic to have conversations about, to put additional funding behind, to make sure people get the treatment they need. But it's not the cause of our mass shootings and our school shootings in our nation. Other nations, developed nations in the world, have similar rates of mental illness, and what the correlation you often find is heightened suicide rates in nations that have higher mental health issue rates. That's not what we're seeing. So it doesn't appear to be directly tied to mental health issues. A lot of people always want to scapegoat media, films, video games, rap music, whatever it may be, for being violent and encouraging violence. But that music, those video games, those films, those TVs, shows, those movies are all shown in many other places in the world, and we don't see it. The only thing that separates the United States from other developed nations in the world when it comes to this is the number of guns. We are at nearly a 1-to-1 ratio of guns per person in the United States. The access is as easy as can be. You can just walk in and buy an AR-15. Now, I know that this nation has a deep, long history with the Second Amendment, and people want to keep that. But I am sick of hearing people defend the Second Amendment at the cost of lives. The Second Amendment was designed to prevent a tyrannical government from overthrowing or from taking liberties with its population and taking away people's rights. And that reason, that cause, was fixed by the Constitution, by our systems of checks and balance, by our ability to vote. It prevents the need of having, to overthrow the government, to defend yourself against the government. And I also just think it's a very disingenuous article, because your little AR-15 isn't going to do anything against drones and against the technology that our military has, if that were to ever happen, which is very unlikely. But if it were to happen where the military were to be complicit in taking away people's rights wholesale across the United States, there's no militia, there's no group of people in your bunker with your 68 guns that is going to stop it. I want to hear people. I think we always need to hear different perspectives, but I am sick of thoughts and prayers. I am sick of people defending their right to be able to buy whatever gun they want and have whatever they want over the lives of children that are dying in schools. I'm sick of this continuing to be a problem that we act like we don't know what the cause of it is when we know exactly what the cause of it is. From this point forward, and it has been this way for a while. I think the shooting at Sandy Hook, from that point forward, every single lawmaker in this country and every single voter in this country that continues to be blind to this and to refuse to implement gun reform is complicit in the deaths that take place. And that's harsh, but I think it's true. I think it's reality. If you are not willing to come up with solution and you're more interested in what the NRA and the gun lobby are willing to pay you, you are complicit in these deaths. We got to make a change. I am sick of having conversations with my students where I have to tell them what to do in that type of situation and talk about what may happen, and as if it's a real possibility, because we've had multiple shootings just in Washington around this area, around the area of Bellevue. I'm sick of seeing fear in students and not being able to offer any solutions. We have a responsibility moving forward, and I hope people start taking it seriously and stop getting hung up in all of the debates around what is exactly the right thing to do. Well, let's try something, because it's past that time. Sorry I wasn't chipper, but it's what I'm dealing with. It's what my colleagues are dealing with. It's what every person who works or goes to school right now is dealing with. So, thanks.